Okay, guys, yo, 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 to the go, go, go. Phew, sorry that I'm coming in a little late from the opener, but I wanted to kind of walk you through how to set up a Fibonacci swing on your chart so that you can catch some of these higher prints when they start to take their move. So I thought maybe that was a good idea, and we'll use Litecoin as the example. I think you'll get a lot out of this. It's a very simple technique, and I use it on everything because if as long as you get kind of in the, well, I mean, you do have to have a little bit of experience with the name, and then you will select the Fibonacci swings that have enough volatility in them that you know that you're going to be getting some of the upward levels, okay, the ones, the twos, the threes, and the four levels that you really need if you do believe that the instrument is eventually going to take an explosive move up, like we have been. Basically we've been hunting really the Litecoin since way back when, way. $4, $12, $14, and of course now the trade is at 245.59 coming off of the high. Okay, but I want to show you how you can very easily on your chart assess when you might want to think about letting it go and registering the high. So when we're way up here, pretty much the rule of thumb is that if you've known how to manage the move, then way up here, there should only be enough on the table, what's called a runner or runners, very light positions according to your entire position size. So that's kind of the rule. But let me show you how I was able to locate the 266.24. The high eventually was the 275, and you'll see that here. So what you can do is begin to isolate these swings. We have a little one here, and I'll show you how it's drawn. We'll go into a 30-minute so that you can maybe see it a little bit better. A lot of times I'll go back and forth between the time frames to make sure that I'm finding one that has enough, like material data. It's kind of a little bit of like forensics, where you need to look like this particular one came out of this low base off the 51, swung up, came back down to test the 41. So this is an interesting little swing right here. So on the left-hand side, you see all these tools. So you want to grab very simple fib retracement tool. Fib retracement, it's way down here in the middle of the range of the menu. You're going to grab that. You're going to take a pinprick, left click, drag down, and make sure that you connect it to the lower print. Now we can zoom in to make sure that we perfect this and all of that. But on this particular rise, for example, we could look to see that the trade potentially, based on the Fibonacci, the trade potentially could actually return to 205.46. When we go across the entire chart, you'll notice that there's, I don't know, people call it confluence. For me, sometimes I can call it free market equilibrium. It's where that there are throwbacks of price. There in the prior history of the chart, these were Fibonacci swings, even though they were not achieved over here. The 207.22, 205.69. These are prices that you might want to mark off on your chart. And you can see that inside of that, that's where we got this explosive activity here and a retrace. So the low of this candle right here, which is actually 210.15, I think is probably worth putting a little bit of a marker on. And that's what we'll do. Just going to grab this one, and it's 2. I see we have it marked the wrong way, but for the XBT, but you can go in there, you can remark it, and I would grab that particular wick. And what I'll do actually here is let me grab a price label, and it's in your text box here, maybe price label. We're going to grab that, this one right down here, right? 210.15, yeah, 210.15. There we go. I think maybe we might be able to do better by doing, found another one though, didn't we? There's the 205, 27, I think the 21041. What were we looking at? I was trying to grab the tool. It must have been the next one up. As it came, oh, that's why. Because of this wick that came down. So we grabbed the double bottom right here with that wick. Got it. Found it. Sometimes you can lose your line of sight, you know? And let me look on the charts. So let's bring that little baby down here. Grab it if I can. Grab it again. Grab it, grab it, grab it. Bring it down if I can. All right, I'll work on that. Okay, so that's a double bottom based on this power move up. You could also go and grab the 205.69, the 207, somewhere in there. If that was too low down and you didn't want to take, let's say you still have the position on, but you're anticipating how far back will it go, right? So maybe you've got all this profit and you're like, well, I'm just going to see what's going to happen. But, you have to have some clue or some projection, something on the desk where you're like, okay, things are going to get pretty dicey at this price if it pulls back too hard. We will often see that price will come down to an area where then the traders will let go. And it's the strong hands that continue to hold that allow for these explosive moves to happen. They stay in, they're the ones that offer the stability in the trade. New traders come in, and then they push the price up. So it kind of depends on the style of trader or holder you are. I know that there are a lot of people in Litecoin, and they just enjoy and revel that baby is moving and doing something. But I wanted to make sure that you did see that that one swing that we had on the chart, the 266.24, was indeed accepted, happening. Then, of course, you can start to move your numbers up. So the expectation of Litecoin is that this is not the top of Litecoin, but that the next area of interest would actually stretch it, or stretch goal would be 308.45, 308.45. And people are asking me all the time, what's your forecast? What do you see? What's the potential? So it's always fun to kind of project those numbers out. But that is the tool that I use. It's just the Fibonacci retracement tool, and it is on a swing, high, low. Why did I choose the high to low? Because I grabbed it in a bullish move. If it had been a bearish move, I would have done it in reverse, low to high, because I'm now looking for what's the potential in the lower prints. This one here, I'm really looking for where the high is, and then I'm being very cognizant of the reaction off of that high. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm going to go ahead and take this little guy off because he is not one that I'm registering. Keep the other ones on the chart because the 266.24 is a good number. We'll go back to the 15-minute Litecoin, and I'll go ahead and check on the chat, and then we'll move it back over to BTC. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, where are you guys though? Oh, Izzy. Oh, okay, excellent. No, you're cool. I have to get, all you guys have to do is if I'm on and it's interfering at all, you guys just let me know. Hey, whoop, end it. But you're not late. Hey, the channel art and all of that is looking really good. Say, Ruben. It's all looking really, really good. And you've got that whole like Steeler vibe, all that black and gold. But the logo looks really good now. And you know who came in to visit me today? Roger. So I got a real kick out of that. And so your chat, I think you're really developing a very nice chat. And, of course, we had a lot of Lebanon going on for you guys, and I probably need to go to that part of the video and kind of write down what I had to say. As someone that likes to, to find talent and, do whatever I can, be the best that I can to see if, raise up and get more eyeballs on you guys, and I think it's all really good. You do need to start a Google Doc, though, like the Block Digest does its news desk, and so that you can keep those stories, and the names of all the stuff that you deal with, and then so you know that, right? No, and you know who I thought it was. I thought it was Oz the BS Filter. Well, then of course he had to tell me that he was not Oz the BS Filter. But yeah, so it's all good. Yeah, YouTube is funny like that because they're connected with Google Plus and all of that. I don't know. What does he want to change his name? Oh, he wants his old name back, Oz, huh? Well, I'm sure he can work it out. It would be nice if you could do like, here's your name and then a parenthesis or something. Anyway, so what's on deck? Well, don't tell me. This is why you need to have that news desk with Google Plus so that we kind of know what's coming up, because my list of things to look at from you guys is just like silliness. You're scared. Then do it over at Steemit. Do your stories over at Steemit or something like that. I started my Steemit up today, by the way. I have this new idea, okay? I have been told of so many things not to do, but I'll tell you what, Ned Scott has never, ever been unkind to me. And I just want to be with peeps that are cool peeps and that are kind to one another. Doesn't mean that we don't get into arguments, doesn't mean that we don't have tiffy fits and hissy fits and rage quits and all of that. But you know that when you really look back, you can kind of say, she was cool. Right? A little hard to get along with, but she was cool. Like she didn't ever do anything real shitty to me or anything. But I think maybe Steemit would be a good idea. And then what you do is that you just either at the end, because you can keep your chat going. You pop out your chat and you copy and paste the chat, okay? And you can do it that way. And I bet the Steemit people would go crazy if you copied and pasted the friggin' chat. Over at Steemit. But it's because you guys share so much, and it's kind of like, the Coin Scoop talked about that. The Coin Scoop is on it. But because you guys can't, you cover a lot. So that's an idea. But if you don't want to use I can show you the news desk over at Block Digest. And so that I guess I could say that I was kind of the godmother of the Block Digest. And I did have to leave. But you don't have to open up this if you don't want to. But this is started off as a Google Doc, just real simple. And then they just added, little titles and that kind of thing. And let me get rid of this and I'll show it to you. This is the Block Digest news desk. But, they started off just like you guys did. And very committed to this organic kind of growth thing, which, for me, I'm like, okay, I've done organic. Block Digest, this is their news desk. And this is how they keep things in order, because they use the technique that all the stories are down below, all the links. But I can tell YouTube doesn't really dig all that at all. They don't. They would much rather that your description refers back to your YouTube videos, you know, things that you did, or, you know, like your Monday through Sunday lineup, and then you insert your YouTube videos that way. They would much prefer that you have that than they do where you're taking people off, you know, off site to go, you know, fishing around and that kind of stuff. So want to be thinking about that. But the Block Digest has used this really well. Most of it sort of comes, the fact that they use the Google Doc, we figured it out. But it's an open document that everyone can go in and contribute. Now, maybe you guys don't want that, right? So you can close it off to editing. But if it was over at Steemit, then that's no problem. No harm, no foul if it's over there. And then it would, you know, I don't know. I know it's a lot of work, don't I know? All of this is like, it almost makes it look like we should just go ahead and become theater actors or something. Like, there was a time when I was supposed to go to the Ringling Brothers School of Clown Arts in the day. So I think that some of the stuff that we're doing is kind of a passover for, you know, all that kind of stuff. So let me get back to the chart, guys. So here we are with the Litecoin. Incredible move, actually. 12.08% on the Litecoin, trading at 245.01 right now. And coming down to retest. That's all that this is that it's retesting the 8 EMA. That's that yellow dot right there, which is kind of in a railroad pattern, railroad tie pattern. That's the 8 EMA on the 60, but we get this granular view. Now, why is the 8 like that important? Well, the 841 is the Ruby Cross. It's the one that has the most backtesting going on for almost 5 years, I think, the very first backtest that we did. And it's a very well-known, the EMA or the MAs in the 8 and 9 range. Some traders will take it a little higher than that, but generally it's an 8 or a 9. And if the 8 holds the close, and what do I mean by that? So right now, even though we have 4.5 minutes, 6 minutes left, and 15 minutes, let me go to the 1 minute so that you can kind of see. This is in the 1 minute. The 8, this is the 8 in the 60-minute chart. 8, that's the 8, is holding the close. Now we know that this trade has come off the top, right? Because this was the top print. We'll go ahead and we'll put a marker on here. Let me go ahead and put a horizontal line, which is really my pre-market line, but we'll put that up here so you guys can see it better. And then there's the 8. So the trade has come, the dialogue here is that the trade has come off the high. And notice this pattern. It's not like a lacing pattern. Some people would kind of call that who knows, Head and Shoulders, all sorts of people come up with different ways of describing this ledging. But that's what it is. And many times after a high, we will get what are called 4-5 ledge pullback. That's another way of describing it. The other way of describing it is that it would be a full retrace. A full retrace. Now in this case, the name, and you can see why we would get some static right here, is that the name, after it goes to the all-time high, we're talking about, you know, local, because we do all think that like this is not the end of Litecoin, that it will pull back to the next point of stress or pressure. And we'll go ahead and I'll put a line there so you guys can actually see that. And it would be about right there. Now we can go and perfect that later, but and you always want to check yourself. Does that seem like a good line? Is that kind of the end? It looks like maybe we got a nice power play there, some profit taking, and then of course the thing really took off. So we're waiting for what's called a retrace. Because coming off of the high, we have to come back to a place where people now want to start putting on risk. That's all that you're really waiting for. If you get out, if you're scared out, this is very typical of traders. They just want to go ahead and get the hell out of there. But the traders that want to put on either more risk or actually do feel like it's a good price, it's a discount for Litecoin, and then they'll come back in. I'll go zoom in a little bit. I'll keep that price on there. Remember, this is not, I'm not perfecting this, by the way, but it did, it held. So do you see that? It held the close, this little line right here. And the 8 held the close. And then the move is coming and advancing back up. So let's see if you guys kind of get that. And remember, I'm still on mic, and I'll just kind of do this lesson for a little bit longer. So now we see the move come up, right? And it's the same thing. Now we're looking for pressure from when we feel like the price would come back down. Remember, no one knows. But because we have this, there's a little technique that I use just so I can get an idea of what's happening with price. Is that I take the high print, remember, same technique as I showed you before in the bigger prints, to the low, high to low, because we are still in a long, even though we're pulling back. As long as you see that green down there, we're still in a ruby cross long, okay? So we do the Fibonacci swing from the high to the low. I could have taken it to the free market line too, but I need to probably clean that up. And now we're looking for prints to remain inside of this area right here. 253.59, and we do not want to lose anything below. Look at this. They're going to take some profit taking. And this is very interesting. This area right here is going to get very volatile because people understand it's very hard for a price to come all the way down, rest at the 8 to the close, all the way down here. Look at that, just a few dollars off of the 8, and then power back up. So this is very difficult. You could look at this too. Is this a left shoulder, apex, right shoulder? So that's another thing that the bots and algorithms are looking for. They take the left shoulder, they power it up to the apex, and they slam it back down. Okay? They take the short position where they sell off and slam it back down to the on the right hand side. Hope that helps. My trader viewers, I know. That, Ringling Brothers, yes, yes. They wanted to just pack me up and take me there. Oh, yes, they did. They thought I was perfect for clown school. Yep. Okay, so that we'll just kind of keep the Fibonacci on here. I did say that I was going to be more focused on the Litecoin, and that's until the coin scoop comes up. Yeah, my guys, girls, watch out. Because I don't know what their situation is, or what I call the situation. I don't know what the situation is with these two love bugs, but I'm telling you, the coin scoop is my scoop. That's where I go, because I like to be around people that want to talk about the alternative coins, and they want to talk about the ICOs because they're interested in business, and they're interested in making money to do good. That's why I think the Coin Scoop, they're headed for great things, because they're just cool people. That's, you know. Oh, and Viralis TV, I've been seeing you around. What's your deal? What is your deal? Do you only have 2 emojis in your life? And give me the YouTube emoji, because I tried that. I saw you were squirting around earlier today, and I need that YouTube emoji that you use. I really do, from my Nightbot. Okay, so we're going to power through, right, that magenta line and then the orange line. So what's happening here is that we're getting stability at the halfway point. So look at it like a building. A lot of times buildings, they'll build their base, right? And then at the halfway point, they'll start to narrow. It's kind of like a Jenga. And then they'll narrow the trade in. So they'll get stability at the halfway. And then all these different things happen at these Fibonacci levels all the way up, if that's what they want to have happen. right? We still don't know. And my trader bot, the timed commands are working. Look at that. See, there's my trader rule number 5. I added trader rule number 5 because I only ever had 4, because the coin scoop reminded me that I needed to make sure that I added that one. It seemed, and they'll probably end up being like 25 trader rules eventually. Now, if the Nightbot continues to work for us. So that's the call on Litecoin. We're doing a minute-by-minute view. I know it would be nice if everybody would figure out what they should be. We need to have our own Satoshi roundtable, like for YouTubers. What kind of business are we, like what kind of funny business are we really involved in here? Like the whole like BitConnect hack and all of that. I mean, what kind of funny business are we in? You know what I mean? It's like anybody with any sense whatsoever. And I call this out for what it is. The thing is, talked about it again tonight, is that PewDiePie says what makes you a successful YouTuber is that people begin to care about you. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that care about those guys. They just care about them. A lot of people. It's unbelievable. And there's something about human nature too that I've got lots of stories about this, but we just like to be around people that are naughty. Anything that we can do to figure out how to be around naughty, phew, just like that. Ooh, you go like that. Ooh, ooh. There's somebody naughty. Yeah, I want to be like that. I want to be closer to them. I want to be more naughty because I'm not naughty enough. And so it's just, some kind of corrupt thing that all of us have in us. And so, rules shouldn't constrict your peace of mind, but you shouldn't be corrupted by people that are actually like anybody that's willing to hack themselves, right? It goes back to, it's so base, right? It's like, it's really base stuff. And, clearly there's people that are talking about it, and clearly they find it, comical. And why would they ever do that? 111 Bitcoins for someone that has been in promotion. This would be where any of us would be in a puddle over. We wouldn't be able to breathe, Ruben. Truly, it would be a catastrophic loss. And maybe not for the entire bankroll, but just because it happened. How did it happen? How does one, you don't just look at yourself and go, oh, I'll get it all back. It's freaking Bitcoin. Where are those Bitcoins? You want to hold on to them. They're like your children's, You don't look at your children and go, oh, okay, so I lost 111, members of my family. Oh, it's okay. I'll get more of them. I don't have that kind of attitude towards this. So it's the whole thing, and the whole like the hairdos and the bad everything. It's just all it's just all really bad. So I think that we should probably have some kind of a summit on YouTube for people that are involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, some kind of thing where, listen, come in, let us know what your ideas are. How can we make it better, for everyone to be able to feel as though, ooh, I have no idea. Did you see that message deleted by Nightbot? I did not do that. Oh, you were timed out by Nightbot for 5 seconds. Why? What did you say? Okay, don't hear. Hold on. Tell me when you guys go live. Did you say something like ha 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 ha? You know what happened? That came across as my Nightbot told you, buddy. Oh, it was the caps that did it. Okay, because I don't have any rules on my live chat or the Nightbot, just so that you know. Okay, well, be careful about that. You don't do that. You could have had to say something really important to me, like Beauty Duck, and then they viewed it. So, Beauty Duck. There comes the shoe. The shoe is coming. Okay, guys, what's happening right now is that we are what's called flagging out. Okay, and we're waiting for resolution of that flag. And you see that little teeny wick. Remember, we're in the 1 minute. I get it, but if we were in a bigger, wider time frame, we would see these things too. Okay, so don't get all freaked out. We just have the 1 minute so that we see price action. But do you see that little wick? That is the end. This is a sign of the end. The trade has become exhausted, no matter where that is. The trade has become exhausted, and there's about to be a resolution. So many progressive traders, especially with the Fibonacci, it'll be what's called an auto fib will be immediately drawn from high to low, and they'll rinse and repeat and try and follow the trade up or down. So that is what created the need for the resolution. Of course, anybody would have loved for the resolution to be above the 618, go to the 786, and then we'd be close to the near high again. That is not meant to be. It looks like they're going to roll it over. It could be what's called a J, and a J hook will roll over. It'll roll over. It'll give a false read, sometimes even a double bottom like it's doing right now. And it'll go, holy moly, guess what? No, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just giving you an example. And then there'll be enough energy that'll spring load that trade. And in the next 3 candles, the thing will literally like run away. It's called a J hook. There's lots of rules inside of this. And as it's forming, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, but it can happen. So the next candle is a print to the green. So the bulls like that pattern and the discount that was offered. And so let's see what's going to happen. Go back to my chat. All right. Oh my goodness. Well, just let me know when you guys are going to go live, okay? And let me grab the channel. I need to put it in my, I need to do it in the Nightbot. I think it might even be in the Nightbot, actually. I'm not going to show off anything, but I may have already done it. So for anyone that's listening, CoinScoop does not have a vanity URL for its YouTube channel, but that is the YouTube channel. And we are now 31 minutes in. Oh, I'm sorry, an hour in. Pardon me, that's how my Nightbot is telling me I'm almost an hour in. And this is their description. And if you can hear me, and it's just like your thing that you just want to listen, almost in a podcast sort of mood, like I do, except for they're on camera, and then they show a lot of white papers, and the chat. With the chat, we get to really just stop and think about what we might be investing in, and they run through the white papers in this really interesting way. And I don't know, it's just very thoughtful and the vibe is like, over the top. Love, love, love. And they do late night, so they get to pretty much do whatever they want to, and it's just really, really fun and a great chat. So for my replay viewers, definitely catch the CoinScoop, and I'll get more about their schedule and put it in my Nightbot too about that. Let's see. What else do you guys want to know? Oh, that's right. Hashtag make money with beauty. Hashtag. Hashtag. No. I can't do that. I do have a disclaimer though. So that's what I'll do. I'll grab a disclaimer from a prior video. I will go ahead and read my disclaimer. And my disclaimer, a lot of them are over at the educational, on my playlist side. I have done a few of the Baby Pips lessons. You guys can catch they're boring as all out because I'm just reading the Baby Pips, but the reason that I did those videos is that there were thousands of traders that I was sending over to the Baby Pips, and hundreds of them were coming back to say that they had never, that they didn't finish the coursework. And I'm like, oh, it's like hit me like a dagger. Like, why not? You have to do the lessons, dudes. You got to go through it. But, okay, let me read my disclaimer from the channel here. So we'll get that in. We're ready on 3, 2, 1. This is Beauty's disclaimer, everybody. I'll do a timestamp. Generally, the Beauty Bubble is a social channel and a puree of beauty, technology, financial markets, fashion, and books. Yes, if you can believe it. Basically a lifestyle channel to living well, trading well, making money, and doing good. These are my mottos and my life mottos. Another motto that I have is that nothing happens unless it is interesting. It doesn't mean that I'm, like I'm particularly entertaining, but I'm so interested and curious about this particular market that's why I continue to power up and talk about it. And I might be able to do that over fashion. I don't know if I could really do it every day. I could do it over art, but I don't know if I could do it every day. But this market is so compelling to me, I could literally go live every single day. I am absolutely enthralled with it, with its nuance, what makes it tick, what makes it move. So obviously you can see that throughout the history of my YouTube channel that a lot of it is focused on cryptocurrency that goes back now. The end of January, I will have been on YouTube for 8 years. Now, the Baby Pips part, okay? On the Baby Pips, it was to focus on a beginner's guide. It was a rapid fire, going through the modules and all of that. And please be advised that all content in my charts is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only, and that trading the stock, bond, currency, cryptocurrency, commodity, and futures markets can be rewarding, but it is also risky. You need to have your own independent financial advisor. And the trader rules that I have, I truly believe in them. If you are a new trader, or you're coming into the social channel space of trading that maybe you've lifted off a little bit from the IRC channels and that sort of thing, and you're starting to bring voice to what you know, Div, you don't have to tell everybody everything. I listen in on a forum where people are sending in their profit and loss statement to this guy so that they can get a badge. A badge. You know how these things work, right? Oh, I got a badge. And now he's sitting on your profit and loss statement. Don't do stuff like that. So really protect yourself best you can. And the disclaimer goes on a little bit further just to warn you that you should not listen to me for financial advice at all. You always need to get your own independent financial advisor and pay for them. Nothing like this is free, ever. Wes Warren is in the house. Hey, Wes. Hey, Wes, the Nightbot is working tonight. I'm so happy. I'm really happy about that. So the disclaimer goes back and forth. It's on most of my, I put it on a lot of the videos. It's over at my Blogger, etc. So make sure that we have a good disclaimer. That's another reason why we should all get together, is because every one of these channels needs to have a disclaimer. Oh, I like that metric, Wes. I like that metric. That's really cool. Yeah, my channel started, I think, January 28th, 2010. Well, does anybody want to talk to me about anything? Want to hear a story or? Oh, here's that still watching. So that came up at the 57-minute too. So I hope it's not going to give us problems. That should have come up at the 31-minute, but for it to come up at the 51-minute, that's kind of weird. The still watching came up at the 56-minute mark. To keep an eye on that. And oh, yeah, and at the 3-minute mark. You have questions about brand. Okay, let's go for it. You want to talk about social media? That sort of thing? I am all for it. Do you want me to send you did you want to take a panel seat? Because I'll be on until the CoinScoop guys go live, I guess. So it's up to you. Okay, Wes is writing, the brands that you promote, you obviously have a close trust and affinity with. So finish up the question and then we'll talk about what that means. Name the time. You mean if I sent you I can send you the panel link right now. I just need to get some earbuds on so we don't drive ourselves crazy. But the CoinScoop guys, I'm not really too sure. I think that they don't even know what time that they're going to be going live yet. Okay, I get an idea of sort of the question, but don't let me go too far off the topic, okay? Okay, so let's talk about, in the day, I used to say, I promote what I love, okay? Now, it was very difficult in the beginning when I came onto the internet because there were a lot of people that, and I'll use TradingView as the example, they were so baby and I was so willing because I knew, you could just tell that if they could survive, that they were going to win the war on bringing graphic interface for the charts, because there were other charting programs that were kind of on this race. There was something about TradingView, and then they were very welcome of me, my tone, my experience, and so they globbed on to me right away all the pro packages, and they even gave me the login for their Google Analytics. That's how close we were together, okay? And I love them. And very early on, I had to say I promote what I love because there was no financial compensation, but because I was given the pro package and because I was given such entree, you start to feel as though you're not really too sure when you start to fall out of love. Okay, is it because they don't get me, or I'm not getting what I want, or wow, how far can this go and really be fantastic? Then the next part is that, am I really the right person for them? You might be the right person for just that season, just for a little bit. And so this at-will relationship that you have. The thing with working in social internet is the person that has the power that literally with one button they can make all sorts of cool things happen for you. And the other side is that with that same button, they can make your life go to hell. And they do that often. So that part of it, as far as like brand affiliation, brand Wes, it's not because I did it. I think that because you use the word moron for YouTube, so they hid it from me, just so you know. So it's a real touchy place. Like, I was so proud that they had gifted me with so much. And I had a troll come back and tell me that doesn't mean jack at all, because all they had to do was push a button and give you what they wanted to give you so that you would shut up. That's what a troll told me. A troll told me that they didn't care anything about me and give jack about me. And basically that they were just using me until until they were finished with me, and then, do their business. And then I would, eventually I was banned, from TradingView for many, many different reasons. But because they had the power to ban me, that's where the digital brand promotion hurts. That is not correct. There should always be a way, some sort of way that you can work it out, because it can be very damaging, especially when all of those tools and things, you don't have them anymore. You have to come in, and I come through the front door with everything that I do. And so it becomes now, oh, I have to lean on other people. Like trolls have told me, I've heard this story. You have these problems all the time. Yes, I am a problem child. And, I had a guy tell me I'm an acquired taste, as if I'm paying you to like me. These are all relationships at will. It either works or it doesn't. But when it doesn't work, right, you don't use the troll's tools. And that's why I talk about being a tool of the internet. You don't use the troll's tools to then diminish someone's import. And the TradingView story for me is very, it is extremely complicated. And how proud I was of their success, and how proud I was that they chose me to address IDEO on their social site. I was very proud to be able to represent them with my ideas on how I thought that their social community could grow and be healthy and provide all the things that one needs in order to grow that part of TradingView. And I think what I do is that I become melancholy, and then, maybe just like any other relationship, the guy isn't that into you anymore, and then you get uppity, which I did, and boom, you're done. You're out. Or you're sequestered, and you're told what to do and what not to do. And then the market moves 22%, and you just can't stop yourself, which is how I am. It's like, I need to let people know, like, the market is about to explode, and then I get banned again, or I get put in timeout, or and a good example is that when the last time that the Bitcoin moved to 3,100, and it was very scary times, and a lot of people were calling for 850, were calling for very low prints. And I said, dudes, I'll go out. I got to figure out what's going to happen. And I went to, air quote, a couple people, and they gave me a number. And I did the whole kind of thing. Let me see it. Are you sure? Are you thinking that maybe that this is the real deal? Because I am going to share it with people that I care about. And so I went into the forum and I said, guys, it looks to me like the trade is going to turn at 3,100. So let's just look at our charts. Let's see what's happening here. And I was shut down so fast, you know, beauty, shut the fuck up, basically. What do you know? You don't know jack. You keep telling us these things. And the trade went to 3,100 and then blew up. It was identical to what it was told to me. It was identical to what I was told, what I told them, and yet I'm the one that came out with being disrespected, called the C word, the B word. This is constant too, by the way. Absolutely constant. And so you can try to serve well, but if you don't have control over that button in and out, you're messed up. You have to have control. And maybe this is one reason why I've decided to come back over to YouTube, because at least I can have some like, my work is my work, and you can go back and you can listen to it. You can listen to the tone of my voice. You can see the timestamps. You can see the chat. You can be made part of it. And there's just, you know, and it is what it is. But nobody is going to take away this moment from me ever again, as long as I can stand up to it. And now I'm hearing that even YouTube this might be it for us. We might have to go over to, you know, who knows, all these other places, Steam Engine and all these other places that people are starting to build so that we can raise our voices and share with people and do the things that are natural to us. And so the internet, as far as branding, you have to be very, very careful about the brands that you choose, Wes. And I'm really a firm believer that if it's a brand that you really like, really look at the brand and see what part of the brand can I be. You know, if you look at it and you go, well, I really like the way that they offer, you know, customer service. Well, then do that for 3 months. Just focus on customer service. Don't buy into their deal. You do the deal. And this is what I've done with all my charting. These are my charts. These aren't anybody else's. I don't pay anybody else to create the charts that I put up. So do I have an allegiance? I don't anymore. If TradingView does not want their moniker, their licensing, etc., on the New Life Trader charts, and they decide to ban me again, it's not going to take anything away from my GitHub. It's not going to take anything away from anything that I've built or who I am. Just not going to let it happen again. So the branding story and promoting what you love has to be where you're promoting something that maybe you know that you can create yourself. That sounds very kind of, you know, obnoxious. But well, thank you for that. And the whole idea of, you know, the promoting what you love and selecting a brand properly, you will never select things properly. This is what the trade teaches you too. You know, you will never be right all the time. It's not something that is forecasted for anyone's future, is that you're right all the time or it's good all the time. And the thing that I wish that I could change, though, is that it is so at will that if you don't know each other's rules and the boundaries of those rules, then you're messed up. You know, you do have to be able to stick by your rules. That's why we have, you know, have the Nightbot with the rules. I'm very committed to having some sort of boundaries, and not just not in the self-help book kind of way. You have to have some rules in your life. So, okay, let's make sure that Wes really got a good answer to his question about branding, because we have someone or a couple of people in the chat right now that probably know a lot more about branding. Wes has said that the brands that you promote, you obviously have a close trust and affinity with. I find that hysterical, actually, Wes. Are they your brands, or do you manage for others? Okay, this is interesting, because this is all about tone and commitment. That's tone of your voice and commitment. When you love what you're promoting, most likely you're just in love with the people that are involved. It can be an idea, no doubt. It can be such a great idea that you will forgive the people that are involved, like Blab, for example, right? We all loved Blab, and then the people became impossible. So here we were, we kind of stuck, right? Because we knew that it had the potential. Okay, Ruben, you let me know, okay, love, because we're very happy to, I'm happy to close it down, and I'll come on over. So here we were with, oh wow, very enamored by the team to begin with. But then we saw, wait a second here, there's magic about to happen. I used to talk a lot about this in the day, that word magic. The people didn't understand what was going on, that people were at the right moment in their lives, that the technology was at the right moment, that we were really on the precipice of being able to create something that had never been created before, a crowd-sourced community committed to each other's independence and virality. We were so happy, and it did not matter if it was a bed scoper, and there were plenty of them, or if it was Martin Shkreli, of which there were plenty of people that watched him. It really didn't matter. It was that it had the tissue, it had the DNA, and we were all ready to do something fantastic with it, right? So there we are with the technology and promoting the hell out of it, by the way. I mean, there wasn't a group of people that was more in love with the idea of being involved in Blab. I don't know if it was, I don't know exactly, and I may never know precisely what it was. But here we were. There are still people every single day. So here we got that J hook and the push, by the way, if you guys are seeing that happen. We got it back to the 382. This is very classic with Fibonacci. We get the 382 hit, and then there's enough anchor there, and then of course the trade moves up. I really should be probably talking about that, but I could talk about this too, because it really does hit into my heart self, because there are people, like real people, flesh and blood people, that I so saw, like I saw their future. I saw what was possible. And I benefit from seeing that kind of vista in people, because I just have experience, just more experience. In some cases, twice, in some cases, 3 times the life experience. And the thing is that I do have experiences that I'm willing to then, translate or migrate, or, I guess it would be called like infuse, right? And we did, miraculous things. But it goes also back here. I could be very well promoting them because I love them and I have an affinity. We're failures. A lot of us are complete failures in so many things that, brand acknowledgement or promoting people or having an affinity for them can't make up for the lessons that they have to learn themselves. And Wes is saying Blab was there at the cusp of the age of open augury, and we were there Yeah, thanks for the shirt and stickers. And I never did ask for the shirt and stickers, by the way. But right, we did have to hear about the grumblings about the shirts and stickers, though, and then people that didn't get their shirts and stickers and then wanted more, and then they would get an entire box of shirts and stickers and all that kind of stuff. So there are also people, the era that we're going through right now, and maybe a couple of my listeners will understand this, the era that I'm going through, that we are going through now, is that people are realizing, wait a second, we could really do something together. We could really collaborate, commiserate, build, do things together. And and I would so like to, believe that that's possible to do, but it still goes back to the same tenets. Are you rule bound? Um, I don't know, all the things that I have problems with. You know, because I really don't want people to find themselves in a situation where they're being pained or hurt or anything like that, because that's just someone else's troll game. And unless you're a troll yourself, then that's why we have a rule that says, listen, you're not on the internet to be a tool for the trolls. It's just not the way it is. And I find it very interesting that the first day I came into Blab and they were like, oh, so, tell us about yourself. And I said, I'm a badass. That's what I told them. They all laughed. Oh, yeah, really? Why would there be a trader like you with all this experience coming into Blab? You know? So I tried to tell them. I tried to tell them as seriously as I could. I wanted to bring the real-time charts. I wanted to bring the cryptocurrency community together on that platform. I thought it was perfect for it because people could jump in and out of the events as they saw fit, yet still be made part of the community, especially when Will had that Chrome extension that could tell us, okay, Vivo, the reason that happened is that the uh, YouTube, and it's not me, love, okay? YouTube has a certain subset of words or phrases that get held for review because they're viewed as, this is interesting, you are being viewed as being a spammer on YouTube with that. So if you guys are really, social engineers and social media marketing professionals, figure out a way to say that so that YouTube doesn't put you in review. Because that message now makes me have to work over in YouTube because now it's being held for review. Just to let you know. You come back the way you're coming back. I'm not putting up with any, I'm going to let you guys know, no more Mrs. Nice. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be, 2018 is going to be the year of hanging out with people that are just really kick-ass cool people. That's it. They're cool ass, they kick ass, they're smart as ass, all of it, you know? So that's my deal for 2018. So Blab was supposed to deliver to us real time, which is very difficult to do, real time. And of course, Furkan and Sean and the entire team. In fact, if you guys know anything about the drop-in messenger, that I was part, just like other people were part of looking at that beta and seeing how it worked. And every single time we would do it, I would say, how close do you think we are to putting together real time? No, it's no problem, Beauty. We're going to do it, Beauty. We're going to do it, Beauty. Now, today, I don't know if you guys have watched their Twitter for Bebo. They're laughing and mocking people that own cryptocurrency. That's what they're doing. So I don't know if it's because they didn't listen to me. I don't know if it's because they didn't listen to anybody else, or that there can only be one triple comma in the room at Monkey Inferno. I don't know what's going on, but I have no idea why in the hell they would find it interesting or funny or anything like that to put people that are involved in cryptocurrency down. Shouldn't they be building shit or something? I mean, what is that all about? So this is when the technology was there, the brand was there for us to get behind, but the people were failures. And we're talking about they're not men. They went against their word. They didn't deliver, they took it away from us. They did everything that you can imagine that one just doesn't, you just can't, you can't, you can't get behind people like that. So you have to do really, lousy things. And what did they do? They used the button on me. Brittany banned me on Twitter. Sean blocked me on Twitter. You know? Oh, good. So are they on their way? Tell me, tell me, tell me. You let me know. I'm glad that I'm keeping you company, though, Ruben. Don't tell Chris. um, okay, so Wes says, here's to making social choices more meaningful, viable, truly. Beebs, can't wait to see you on .fm. Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoy, listening, because I don't have any, cards or, like, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to say at all, ever. Vivo is saying, does it come with mainstream media? You mean where you stand behind something and then you realize that they're doofus? Or try and open that question up just a little teeny bit, Vivo, and see. Question is, does it come with mainstream media? Mainstream media, while you're holding on to that or expanding that question a little bit, mainstream media, and I can really only speak about it from the day, okay, when I was involved with political public relations, and then of course I worked for Shep Gordon, so I was on the celebrity side of what mainstream media is. Mainstream media in the day acted as a trusted machine. You gave them, they gave you. You gave them, they gave you. It wasn't their job, let's say a Mashable or an Elite Daily. It wasn't their entire job to create the storyline. The storyline came from other people, hardworking people that were creating the storyline. And then with really good writers, which they had in the day, really fine writers would then take that story and build that story up. And then, of course, the media has changed. I think that we're in vegan drama right now. And okay, got it. Does it come with mainstream media? Yeah, on the branding side, you mean. So I just think that maybe if we did a little bit of we did a little scroll back, a little historical scroll back on how media has changed and what influenced media, and of course the rapidness of being able to deliver the news, and now everyone thinks that they're a news bot. When you go over to Telegram right now, I mean, I'm getting news stories. Well, I'm in a lot of the stories. I can still be a little early, right? Yeah, I said vegan drama. You don't know about the vegan drama? Oh man. Okay. So we have to, in order for us to figure out what we're going to do tomorrow with media or mainstream media, you really, really have to know how we got to where we're at now. So let's say if we were to really look at it and say, why does it look and feel the way that it does now? Why is there something called fake? fake this and fake that. Well, we did it with the food industry, and we shamed, well, first of all, we did it with, libations and cigarettes and, all that, okay? That it was no longer pleasurable, so you shouldn't do it. And it's no longer this, and it's all that, and it's poison, you shouldn't do it. And then people started to roll their own and grow more weed and do all of that. Okay, that was the outlet, right? After being shamed for doing something that, for me anyway, in my age group, that to be Joan Collins on the weekends, was fashionable. There's nothing wrong with it. It was almost expected. And my parents were even more so at a higher level. So you have to kind of see the arc of how we find ourselves in this boat of shame and why. Why? Do we not need the media? Do we not need the Times Square billboard? Do we not need to be guided as to what is trend setting? Do we not need all of these things? I could say down the road that what's happening is that what you don't need is to learn and know how to read. What you don't need is to me, is that's where they're, look at this pull back. That I do believe is the directive here. Full disclosure, I'm a shareholder of Netflix. No one thought, what do you want to do that for, Beauty? That's ridiculous, Beauty. Nobody's going to go for that. Nobody's going to watch that many movies. Nobody's going to want to do all of that. Like we can't even do it with music, let alone movies. So it's just a distraction from the core knowledge sets that we have to be good people, to know how to govern ourselves, know how to, drive undistracted, know how to abide by, we talked earlier about, know how to abide by simple rules. So is the bigger picture, and I'm not trying to be an anarchist at all. I'm just looking at the simplicity here is that they took crayons and drama class and costume making and all of that out of the lower schools, so that on the outside you would have people that were willing to buy from Forever 21 and can't put an outfit together for their life, and they have no creativity. They have none, zero creativity. And if you take creativity away from a man, especially, you are going to have problems. They will not know the difference between a good woman and not a good woman. They won't know. You take away those creative juices and those ways of thinking about life, you're going to have problems. You're going to have failures. And you have to fight. You have to fight against it. That's why often, when I'm speaking privately, I'll say, when was the last time you went to a gallery? When was the last time you went to a museum? Look at the great masters. Stand in front of a great master's painting and stand there until you can't stand any longer and you're weeping because now you get it. Do that. Be that. Put your phone down, put your iPad down, get off the internet and go and see what the great masters have done and given us. Now, why am I saying that tonight? Everyone know Mario Batali? If you know Mario Batali, give me a little something in the chat that you guys know who he is. And this story is gonna be really interesting. Mario Batali. Yes, Vivo saying it comes down to daily self-knowledge. Yes. Right. Yeah, you have to be aware of yourself and not so willy-nilly. So who knows Mario Batali? Somebody has to know Mario Batali. Come on, guys. Because I'm not going to tell you the story if you don't know. Okay, good. We have one. Ruben was brave enough. He knows who Mario Batali is. Batali. B-A-T-A-L-I. You guys know we're a foodie family. Okay, so obviously Mario Batali has been in our ecosystem, in our life flow, in everything forever. So if you heard about him, okay, Mario Batali got himself found out, and I guess 4 women have come forward. And all I have to do is say 4 women have come forward, and you guys know probably where I'm going to go with this, right? So we were talking, okay, well, that's going to be it. You know, all of the pasta sauce and all of his branding and that sort of thing on shelves, well, they'll be taken off the shelves. They'll be boxed up. And we were trying to figure out where all that stuff would be shipped off to, because they're not going to be selling any Mario Batali products, more than likely. The books will be completely taken off the Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever his books are sold. The restaurants are probably going to take a really bad hit, more than likely. Eataly may survive. We're not really too sure if you guys know of Eataly. This is horrible, getting back to a brand. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to a brand of his style. He's messed up. This is effed up. This is not going to be good. They're going through every industry, Ruben. And we had, you know, like an argument in the house about what this is and why. What is this and why? It is so fascinating. So I decided, well, I'd never really been to his Instagram, but I thought, well, the first thing I'll do, because we went to the website and went to the bottom to see where his output was for social. And of course, he has an Instagram account. And it's not really the best Instagram account ever, but it's Mario friggin' Batali. I decided, okay, I'll go over there. Because I said to Quiet, I said, if there's anything like a picture or, you know, anything that you might want, right? And he basically said, no, you know, whatever I know about Mario will kind of have to stay in my heart or whatever. So I said, well, I'm going to take a look and see if there's got to be something cool that's here that maybe, you know, we can use or understand from. So I'm scrolling down. What do you think I found? I don't know when he was there. It had to have been around October, around this time of year. Getting back to standing in front of the great masters. I'm going to give you 3 guesses of where he was. Okay, he was at Vesuvius. Okay, Vesuvius. He was at Mount Rushmore, or he was at the Pieta. Where was Mario Batali? Where do you think he was? I gave you three offerings. He was at Mount Vesuvius, which is very funny to me. He was at, what was the third one? Second one? Oh, Mount Rushmore. Or he was at the Pieta. Where do you think he was? The chat is going to drive me crazy because it's so slow. I gave you 3 choices of where you think he was. Vivo, mi amigo, mi amor, ¿cómo te ha ido? Me miss you like cake, you crazy. Yes. Yes. You lost, huh? He was at the Vatican, probably praying to the gods, right? He went to the greatest masters that you can go to on the planet Earth. And he went and he took a picture of the Pieta. Yes, he did. So listen up, people. If you are ever struggling with who you are, where you want to go, what it is that you think you have to dig deep, go, no, Puerto Rican. Can't you tell from my YouTube videos? I'm Puerto Rican and Italian by birth. Yes, I am. And you can ask me what part Puerto Rican am I? What part do you think I am? Oh man, you guys are so funny to me. All right, so there he was, right at the Pieta. Yes, he was. So you go to the great masters, you know? Don't go to your baby mama, you know? Don't go to a bar. Don't go to your friends. Run to the nearest museum and stand in front of the greatest masters you've ever known. Well, see, I don't know that much, and this is why Coin Scoop, my family history. My father was from Puerto Rico and came to Manhattan as a kid. And most of his side of the family is actually still in Puerto Rico. And I don't know any of them, and his mother was the only one to know me as a child. And so I did not grow up in the Puerto Rican culture at all. I've never been to Puerto Rico. And I didn't have the same sort of like, wow, I desire, right, to know my roots. Because at 3, my dad left. Soon after, my mother became remarried and I was adopted. My father basically abandoned my mother and me. So that whole side of my life is not something that I get to speak of openly with my family because, you know, he was such a douche. But loved. When we get back to this, he was a douche, loved by everybody. Very charismatic guy, extremely likable, beautiful, you know, everything you can imagine, right? Like most Puerto Rican, the people of Puerto Rico are beautiful people. So as I grew up, there was more of a tendency that, you know, because I had the Mediterranean side, that, you know, that I would be more inclined to side with the Mediterranean side, you know, Mediterranean side. Except for my father was British through and through, English through and through, like English. So I benefited from having that very kind of strict assessment of life through his eyes. And then there was never any talk of my natural father until I turned 18, and he showed up, lock, stock, just like that. Wanted to have a piece. Wanted to have a piece of, you know, who I am. So I did my best to be a good person, and then, sure enough, he left again. You know. So, but I do dance like J-Lo, and in the day, you know, I had all that going on. So, but I can't wait to hear about this Arecibo and Carolina. And so let me introduce you to Vivo. Vivo Bitcoin is from Puerto Rico. And yes, we all went through the hurricane together. Frightening. It's still frightening. I think he's in the States now. I'm not really totally certain. But the Coin Scoop, meet Vivo Bitcoin. Vivo Bitcoin, meet Ruben. Ruben is part of a twosome that run the Coin Scoop, which is a Bitcoin show here on YouTube, and they do an evening show. Well, we know each other from Blab, and we met each other through another fellow. That's how Vivo and I know each other. So yeah, yep. So when I was speaking very clumsily in Spanish, that's, I could say anything to Vivo, right? Vivo knows this, right? Like I could say, "Cómo te ha ido, doofus?" And he'd like look up and go, "What is it, Beauty? What did I do? Oh my God, she's after me again." She'll never let up. She's always trying to tell me what to do. Como te ha ido, doofus? There's probably another way of saying that, but anyway. Well, that's just because, you take enough buses in Los Angeles or enough subways, you know, you get it eventually. And then, of course, doesn't hurt to have gardeners. Oh, you guys are funny. Anyway, it's so late for you. Are you guys really going to have a show tonight? I'm going to talk about, because I think maybe I should put another marking on the chart so you guys kind of have an idea of what happened here and why it's always a good idea to have a great chart. Thank you to the 6 that are watching. I really appreciate what happens, that we do things a little bit differently on my channel is that often I'm in no audio, but I grab the chat and then I take the chat to Google+. We make a copy of the chat and the chat becomes a member of the comment section down below. So if you thought that you missed a link or a price point or one of the Nightbot posts or anything whatsoever, we kind of put it all together. And at 12:15, that's when you're scheduled though. Well, I wanted to say a little bit about these things, right? Because of course you mentioned New York in the show, and then you guys, I can tell, right? And I'm sure that everybody else can tell that. And I could very easily go into that whole, I have members of my family that have never, I'm talking never ever, been west of New Jersey. And we laugh about it, but that's like the truth. Never, ever. So, in fact, my last great aunt that passed was the one that had never, ever been west. If you guys get this, look on a map, ever. She came on a boat from Gaeta, if you know where Gaeta, Italy is, which is where the family was. Either, I understand that the family was actually, that's where the family always had been, but of course there's a naval port there and everything else, so that story could have been where they were from a village outside of Gaeta and they came into Gaeta, but from Gaeta, and that's what's on the passport and the immigration papers and all of that, from Gaeta. And she had never been west of New Jersey, so they went from Italy across the Atlantic into the Hudson Bay. They were processed there and never married. So like my son is the last surviving clan member of my family from Gaeta. And if he does not have a male-born child, that's it. We're done. It's over for an entire line of incredible people. It's all over. That's why I don't put up with too much shit anymore, just because I realize that it's all over. So, if you have a male child, you're doing good. I have a male child. He's not, I don't know what's going to happen exactly. Whether or not he will have a family or not, but then that's it. Game over. And close the curtains now at the Met. Boom. Done. So 12:15. Okay, so I can keep going. Well, I think he's probably your age. Oh my God. That is so cute though. All right. Well, we need to start a crypto Tinder. Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of fun. I mean, the vibe here is different, right, Vivo, than it is when we're in kind of private session, you know? And if and it's like with the flow of the conversation, um, so you know how I am about, personal identifying stuff is, you know, but in a way, if it's part of, a good, like I really like these guys. I really, really like them. And so if they have a question for me and I think that I can answer it, and I can answer it with some sort of, you know, interest and certainty and all of that, then, I think that it's probably good for the brand, getting back to the brand. Because I do get the question. But all right, so thank you though. It's a compliment. Yeah, right. No, I mean it's I had to say over at the Steamit that if you come over here on a, you will probably hear a rant of mine about who knows what, because it's not like, I wish I could do it where it was more comical or something, but some of the stories that we've got, I mean, oh my God, I like, oh, geez Louise, too much. It's really too much. But if anybody is interested in, my DNA and all of that, you can check out some of the old YouTube videos if you are so interested. And, you try and stay on point when you're on YouTube, but I mean, we've been on for 2 hours right now, so staying on point for 2 hours is a little hard. It's easier to stay on point for a 3-minute YouTube video where you can do jump cuts and all that kind of stuff. But, I want to get my 10,000 lifetime views by the end of the month. And then I think that maybe that will um, clean up a little bit of the things that I need to have on YouTube. But today, it was actually Jeff Adams, who has been in conversations with people that are very concerned that the I hate this word, but the viability of YouTube for the small content creator, and I don't consider myself really a content creator, but uh, that they will have no other choice other than to figure out and get a finite message through some sort of a paywall. That's it. Now, Ross Brand and myself have talked about this, and I've talked about it with others too, the benefit of paywall. The problem is when you hang around too many cryptocurrency people, everything is supposed to be open source, open, open, open. I want to give you a heads up. Everyone that's on Core, everyone that works on the custodian part of Bitcoin, on the custodial part of the white paper, right? The original Satoshi Nakamoto vision. They are either consultants, paid consultants. They sit on boards. They have stock options. They are interested people to remain healthy with their families. There's some people that, and openly, they've talked about how many family members they have. They have families. They have homes. They have expenses, and um, they work. You know, so today there was one that came out, and he was saying all the things that you should do if you're in crypto, right? And then at the very end, he said, if you want to learn more, and then he put his own website there. Basically, it's like, yeah, I'm a member of Core, and that's fine enough. You can sort it out yourself, but what you really need to do is come in and see me. Well, just 2 months ago, he had been swatted, and all of a sudden, we're supposed to visit his website. So I don't know. It's like nobody's smart with this right now. everybody's scrambling to try and figure out how they can continue on, keep what's called keep the lights on. And YouTube has really found themselves in a horrible, horrible place. You know, I mean, they don't even have a way to, like, they have no way right now. Like it used to be, I could, put a video up, I would get 2 cents. That's what it was worth to them, 2 cents. My very first Bitcoin that I earned was by making hey you love, was making a tweet for a cheese company, and I was paid in Bitcoin. YouTube has no way of even having us help them. Like, they don't want to crowdsource us for the answers. And I'm hearing that if you do certain things in that description box, you'll get kind of like shadow banned in a way. They're able to create a situation where you won't even know if you can be, I call it discussion and discovery. You can have a discussion, and I've had discussions where, like, there's one view on my video, and someone will say, well, that was probably you. And they're probably right. But it's about discussion and discovery. And if you can't do those two things, you don't really have very much. I mean, let alone, peeing on trees and, taking a Lamborghini and wrapping it around a telephone pole, and you've got it all on, air quote, all on camera. So I think that they took things a little too far. And then we have no way. We have no way of helping ourselves. We have no way of helping them. Like, they needed us in the beginning. If anyone was involved in the very beginning of Google Plus, when they did the Hangouts, they needed us entirely. But so Jeff Adams did a piece today where he's hooked up with a company that's doing kind of paywall kind of stuff. We know, of course, if you have a Kickstarter, you can have the use of the Huzzah, whatever you want to call it, the Huzzah code. And there's Exotica, which is kind of an adult channel. Twitch, I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of people are doing the Twitch. Like, I think that the CoinScoop would do really well over at Twitch. I don't know. And I know that they like to play games too. So, it's possible that they could kind of integrate a couple of rounds of playing a game, and then they move into the CoinScoop or something. Because the Twitch, the skin over there is just, it's just much more conducive for growth, maybe. I don't know. I did get a question, I guess, about, you guys are kind of talking about this net neutrality thing. I can tell you that it's in everything. It's in everything. It's in your grocery stores. It's in your gas stations. It's in your clothing stores. It's everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. And maybe I feel differently about it because my father built the very first television set when he was a kid for his hometown. My father had the only, and I wish that I knew what the, because they're talking about it now, where we'll be able to mine over the radio waves. But a lot of people know the story about my father was like the cousin of 911 for the city of Palo Alto, which is Stanford University and what everyone calls now Silicon Valley. So our home had a radio tower on the property, and that radio tower serviced hundreds and hundreds of miles for the Bay Area and beyond. So as I was growing up, I learned that the way that you get to communicate is that you have to learn, and you have to learn and be licensed and know how to communicate. You have to figure it out. My father was also one of 4 graduates from the Naval Academy at Monterey in communications engineering, which was a very new field when he um, received his degree. And so I grew up with someone that knew how to build communication devices. So for me, I look at this problem and I'm like, dudes, let's just figure out another way to communicate. You don't like it? You don't want to have those kinds of controls? Let's build a radio tower. Let's do something else. I mean, this is what's happening if you watched any of the most recent conference, not the Breaking Bitcoin conference, but the other one um, that was at Stanford, one of the talks with Elaine Wu and I have to go through my mind all the people in Bitcoin. And they want to figure out a way where mining can happen or transactions can happen actually over the radio waves and not the internet. So, there's already people that are working. Whether we go back to smoke signals, I don't know, but I'm not really that concerned about it because it's not, but that's just me. I know that there's a lot of social implications. It sucks. It's not right. The internet is ours, but as someone that grew up before the internet and understands the after internet, I mean, don't mistreat it. I think that if we hadn't mistreated it, maybe things would be different. But we continue to want to mistreat stuff. And then things get worse. We want to continue to be, racist and sexist and misogynist and terrible people on the internet. So, they're going to let us know that they don't want people to treat each other that way. The thing is that they don't give us another option, such as being educated on these other ways that we can communicate with one another. And my father, with the ham radio, I mean, I talked to people from all over the world as a kid, talking to people from all over the world all the time. So I never felt as though anything was keeping me from communicating. So the internet, or whatever happens to the internet, and if I have to turn it off, then I'll turn it off. And we'll just have to find another way to transact our lives. I mean, you can have something as brilliant and wonderful as the Khan Academy, for example, and they're begging for money. You can have something like the Wikipedia, and they're begging for money. So all these things are not free. We've received them for free, and then we've mistreated each other. So go figure. And I'm not calling them where they're doing the right thing, because I really don't know that much about it. I'm just saying from the sentimental part of communicating with one another and having the right to the internet, I'm not really too sure. I wish that I knew a little bit more about it to, have like a very firm opinion, but I can tell you that it goes back to mistreating things. There'd still be ad revenue if we had been on YouTube and didn't mistreat, So that's what I think. I don't think that the advertisers were trying to get away with anything. So we're going to go for a power push right now. It's at midnight. If you guys can see this, I'm going to bring the chart out to a 15 minutes so that you can see that original Fibonacci swing. This one here, right here. So price is coming up to the 265.95. We're at 263.64, 64, and working our way up to the unperfected Fibonacci, 265.95. So as I said, that J hook, even though it wasn't in the classical sense of J hook, but nonetheless, the trade came down to the 382. It readjusted itself, it J hooked again, and then we take the power move at 264. 17 stretching to 265.95. The high was actually 3 cents off the Fibonacci. This is very good. The trade is behaving really well. We kept the 8 on the close, right? Another ledge up, which is above the free market, kept the ledge, and now we're moving up again. Whether we'll get another double top, we don't know because we just don't know what happened. So you guys, do you guys see that now? Or let me get the chart to open up a little bit so you might be able to see it a little bit better. So we did a high, we did a free market line, we did a Fibonacci between the high and the low. It's called a Fibonacci swing, so that we can get a good idea of what's happening in price. And then you probably want to mark off the halfway point here, because this move is actually, this is very textbook. So, you just want to draw a line. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just get a line in there. Then we can start to manage the trade as we are taking our move up. Once again, this would be the 50% line of the Fibonacci swing. And we don't want to lose any of this, and we know that we're headed for that new high, or maybe even a new all-time high. I don't know if I have that marker up here. Oh, there it is, 275.17. So very nice move. 1 minute candles. These are all hammers though, so a little dangerous. So we might have what's called a bullish reversal with these here. It was so dramatic. They get people caught up here and then they slam with the profit going. Risk wants to come back in. So we have some buyers that more than likely they probably have, yeah, because it's at $260. So there was probably some sells that were automatically put there, and then the buyers come back in. We'll see what's going to happen. 262.32, amazingly up 20%. So of course, if this was a E-mini product, we would have already been hit by a circuit breaker, and we would have to go on rest for 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. So I actually did a circuit breaker thing today on the bot, but I don't know if you guys can see it. I think it says / circuit breaker. I think that's how I put it. Let's see what happens when I do that. I think. Okay, excellent. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll wrap this up, and then whoever wants to follow me over to the CoinScoop, please look for their Twitter, because they'll push out something on Twitter, and I'll shut things down here, and then we'll just keep it up over there, see what they've got on deck over at the CoinScoop. Make sure when you're over there, you are going to do what? You are going to share. You're going to tell a friend to tell a friend to come on over to the CoinScoop. All right, I'll see you soon, Ruben. Very fun. The CoinScoop. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's really about it then. I should probably get a couple of things down, make sure that I grab the chat. So that you guys know what I sort of kind of do with the chat now. We pop out the chat. We slide it down. We open up a Google document, actually just Google Plus. We open it back up here. We grab that. And actually, if I have a link, it shows up pretty nice over Google Plus. Grab the entire chat. Had a great chat today. And it won't let me go all the way back, which is telling me that I had something inside of. Send that over. Looks like I might have been, maybe, the YouTube video might have not timed out, but we might have had an interruption of some sort over at YouTube for some reason, but that's what we did anyway. Okay, I think that that's it. Yeah, we're getting the still watching, leave, like, a subscribe, and do all of that. And thank you very, very much, guys. For the replay viewers, if you've come this far, we did go on for a little bit today, and as it would end up being, we did a full-blown audio. This was a all audio program, not a no audio program. But thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I'll talk to everyone later.